God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. You don't need to attend weekly Alcoholics Anonymous meetings to be familiar with these words. Besides helping countless people live a sober life, this prayer, I believe, provides us a key to understand how Jesus was victorious in his face to face with the tempter. One could ask, why didn't Jesus turn stones into bread? After all, several chapters later, we will witness him multiplying bread, creating countless loaves out of thin air, so to speak. If Jesus could do so later, why not now in the wilderness to teach the devil a valuable lesson? What stopped Jesus from genuflecting in front of the tempter if later he will willingly accept the humiliation of bowing down in front of the cruel governor of Judea, Pontius Pilate himself? Why is it that Jesus accepts the painful death on the cross, but is not willing to jump down from the parapet of the temple in this gospel passage? Why does Jesus willingly choose to basically mirror these temptations later in his life, but declines to do so now in the desert? Perhaps it really is about knowing which things can be changed, which cannot, and most importantly, maybe truly is about knowing the difference. The Serenity Prayer was originally composed by a Protestant theologian, Reinhard Niebuhr, who in the 1930s moved from Germany to New York and taught at Union Theological Seminary. Two of his friends, also pastors and theologians, came from Germany to America in the 30s of the previous century as well, Paul Tillich and Dietrich Bonhoeffer. And I imagine that the very different approach to what to do about the Nazi regime back home by Tillich and Bonhoeffer could have something to do with how the Serenity Prayer ends. You see, Paul Tillich accepted teaching positions at Harvard and the University of Chicago, believing that the best use of his time and talent would be to oppose the brutal regime in his homeland from afar, by exposing its immoral and godless ways. Tillich was convinced that there was nothing pastors or theologians could do to change things on the ground. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, on the other hand, did not stay in New York. After being exposed to black preaching and black theology in Harlem, Bonhoeffer could not, in good conscience, enjoy his life and career in America or later in Great Britain while his homeland was spiraling down and the Nazi regime was growing ever more oppressive. Instead, Bonhoeffer believed that he had to do all he can to change things on the ground. Unlike Tillich and Niebuhr, he believed that this is something he can change or die trying. Bonhoeffer was one of the organizers of the Christian anti-Nazi underground church. Eventually, he was arrested and later executed, just a few days before the war ended on April 8, 1945. At the time of his temptation in the wilderness, Jesus accepted the fact that a stone is not bread. He accepted the fact that at this point in time, it made no sense for him to become a miracle worker, even though later he very much will. He accepted that some things cannot be changed or altered during his time in the desert. But later, when Jesus encountered the poor, the hungry, those who were oppressed and suffered injustice, Jesus very much became very personally involved in changing things that could and should be changed. I pray that we all, like Jesus, are granted wisdom to know when we must accept things as they are and realize when passive acceptance is not really a choice. Amen. After festive Mardi Gras celebrations, we have now entered into the holy season of Lent. Thank you for keeping me company as we journey with Jesus for 40 days to his cross and resurrection. If you enjoyed this short sermon, please click on the like symbol below and make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. May God continue to bless each one of us.